It's a great pleasure to hear the presentations on such a crucial issue. I understand when people say, however, that there's a worry in Europe about an anti-media rhetoric, a kind of popular backlash against mainstream media. And that is true, but I think it's because sometimes many citizens feel that they're ill-served by the media, and I think we have to be honest about that. I, too, am a journalist. I have been involved before I became an MSP as part of the media bubble. And there is a media bubble where a lot of journalists think the same. There is a kind of groupthink. And I think that if you look at what happened in the UK, British media, British journalists did not expect the British public to vote for Brexit, and they should have known they were going to if they were doing any investigation. The American media did not expect anyone to vote for Donald Trump and were outraged when they did, and they should have known if they'd investigated beyond the bubble. So I think that sometimes the media can be blindsided by populism, and populism can sometimes mean by the way that things are popular and just outside of the mainstream bubble. So I think that sometimes journalism itself is not investigative enough at the moment and is too much preoccupied with opinions and the opinions of a small group of people. I also think that it's good sometimes that people move away from mainstream media and look to alternative outlets. That's not all bad. We've already heard of a brilliant one in Hungary as we speak. Sometimes you have to form alternative media in order to tell the truth, and they're not all untrustworthy. For example, in the UK, the main way that we know about the Gilets jaunes in France is not because we see it on the BBC or on the news, but because we have citizen journalists showing us the French police beating the hell out of ordinary French citizens, and I want to know about that. I'm also nervous, and this is kind of now my questions, I'm nervous about fact checkers because although I like the idea of facts, of course I do, you need facts, I worry about a kind of having an official truth. I mean, how do we know exactly who's going to decide what is accurate and the truth? You know, I've even heard today in this discussion somebody describing disinformation and fake news in the EU referendum in the UK, and it becomes a way of explaining why voters don't vote the way that you want them to. And a slight warning to the EU, whose default position is often regulations and legislation to ban things and to clean it up that way. I'm afraid that that often ends up in an attack on press freedom. If you're going to be free, you don't need more rules and laws and regulations. You need freedom. That's what it's about.